Now to start off with, we're going to stick our daisies across the garment surrounding the name in an arrangement that you like. Now for the petals of the daisies, we're going to use lazy daisy stitch. So I've brought the needle through the fabric at the point where the petal starts, then I've put the needle back down through the same hole. I've pulled it almost taut, creating a little loop. Then as you can see, I've brought the needle inside the loop up through the end of the petal and anchored it down with a little stitch. I'm now moving in a clockwise direction. So again, needle up and through the same hole at the base of the petal, creating a little loop. Bring the needle to the end of the petal, hook the loop over, and a little stitch to hold that petal in place. And you're just going to repeat this following the outline of the petals on the stick and stitch pattern. Now to tie off the daisy, I've used the little tail of yarn from where I first started the petal, and then you just tie that off with the yarn from when you finished, and then I just cut that off with scissors. And again, I'm going to be using lazy daisy stitch to fill in the petals of my second daisy, using this lovely darker shade of pink. So we're just going for a little two-tone shade here to match the pink of the knit. So just the same as before, needle up and through the same hole, and then you're just hooking that loop over the yarn and anchoring that petal in place. And you're going to repeat this as you did previously, following the line of all 5 petals. And then just as we did before, we're taking the start and the end of the yarn and we're just tying those together. I just do 3 little knots, pull it taut and then chop off any remnants. Now for the centre of the daisies, we're going to be using a French knot. So you bring the needle up through the fabric where you want the knot to be. And again, as before, I'm just leaving a little tail of yarn to tie off at the end. Now I'm holding the yarn taut with my non-needle hand. I'm bringing the needle close to the fabric, wrapping the yarn around the needle 3 times, wrapping away from me, pushing the needle through the fabric very close to where it came up through to start with, and then you pull it through. I'm just pulling that initial tail of yarn tight, and that just creates a really neat little French knot. A lovely way to centre your daisies, and then you can just tie off the start and the end of the yarn. Again, 2 or 3 little knots, and then just cut that off with some scissors. And And you're just going to repeat this process. Again, needle up through the fabric, leaving that little tail of yarn, wrapping the needle with the yarn 3 times away from you, poking that needle back through the fabric, and then just pulling it tight. There we go, and again just pulling that little tail of yarn. Just watch as that knot neatens. And there we have it. That is a completed little daisy that you can add to any of your garments.